When we think of medieval England, we picture knights, castles, and chivalry. But in the shadows, something else thrived: organized crime. Today we uncover the rise of England's forgotten mafia, the Coterel Gang. Noble-born, ruthless, untouchable, and they almost got away with it. Political turmoil breeds crime. The early 1300s were chaotic. King Edward II was wildly unpopular, ruled more by his lovers, first Piers Gaveston, then Hugh Despenser, then by reason. Noble families clashed with the crown. Authority collapsed. And in the power vacuum, banditry flourished. The Coterel Gang wasn't alone. Groups like the Fulvilles and the Le Sauvage were operating across England, but the Coterels stood out, not just for their crimes, but for their audacity. They weren't peasants or outlaws by birth. They were gentry. Noblemen turned outlaws. The Coterel brothers, James, Nicholas, and John, were the sons of a well-connected Derbyshire landowner. They weren't scoundrels scraping for survival. They had land, horses, and education. James, the eldest, was said to be charismatic and calculating, with a keen understanding of how to manipulate both law and men. Some historians believe James first dabbled in theft during a land dispute, realizing that brute force often got results faster than royal courts. That first step was small, but it led to open defiance. They had power. Why not take more? The Forest Mafia. Their first public act, assaulting the vicar of Bakewell inside his church, was bold, calculated, not just theft, but spectacle. It sent a message. Not even the church could protect itself. Over time, their numbers swelled. The Coterels built something more than a gang. They created a mobile criminal enterprise. Their camps were disciplined. Scouts watched the roads. Couriers moved messages. They avoided staying in one place for more than a few weeks. The forests became their fortresses. And their recruits, not ragtag peasants, but disillusioned retainers, minor nobles, even former soldiers, men who wanted money, protection, or revenge. A kingdom in crisis. Back in court, Queen Isabella and her lover, Roger Mortimer, overthrew Edward II, but their grip on power was weak, and lawlessness surged. The Coterels thrived in the chaos. Even Henry of Lancaster, a powerful noble, was raided, and no one could touch them. Legal cases collapsed because jurors feared revenge, or secretly admired them. From blood to business. In 1331, something changed. The Coterels grew smarter, more strategic. They realized violence drew attention, but money bought silence. So, they focused on profit. Merchants were forced to pay protection fees to travel safely. Local abbots were coerced into hiring Coterel men as unofficial guards. Inns and blacksmiths were paid to avoid sabotage. It was organized and effective. Kidnapping the corrupt judge, Sir Richard Willoughby, wasn't random. It was leverage, a warning. They weren't afraid of the system because they knew how to make it work for them. Justice denied. King Edward III personally intervened in 1332, furious that Willoughby had been taken. A royal commission indicted 50 men tied to the Coterels. Trials were held in the North Midlands, and the king even attended. But justice never arrived. Witnesses recanted. Jurors hesitated. Local officials stalled. The Coterels had deep ties and public sympathy. Many villagers saw them as noble rebels against a corrupt elite. Only one man, William de Euston, was executed. And even that felt more symbolic than sincere. The rest walked free. The message was clear. Fear and loyalty could still outweigh the law. From outlaws to officers. Then came war. England turned its eyes to Scotland and Flanders. The trials vanished. In 1338, the Coterels were called to serve in the army. They accepted. By 1351, they were pardoned. James Coterel became a tax collector. Nicholas, a royal bailiff. The same men who robbed the crown now served it with clean records and official titles. Their transformation wasn't just survival, it was their greatest heist. The Coterel Gang didn't die in battle or hang from the gallows. They simply stopped. Or rather, they changed uniforms. What had begun as rebellion became bureaucracy, from outlaws to taxmen. Their story vanishes from most chronicles. No epics, no final justice. But that's what makes them unforgettable. They weren't crushed by the system. They merged with it. And in a time when kings changed, laws bent, and corruption reigned, the Coterels weren't just criminals. They were survivors. architects of their immunity, England's first mafia, and perhaps its most successful. Like, share, and subscribe for more real historical underworld stories.